Welcome back to Top 10. For this video, we will be covering the most destructive and earth-shattering hurricanes in history. These massive windstorms have caused complete destruction to whomever and whatever is in its path. If you find this video interesting or terrifying, please feel free to leave a like, comment, and ring the notification bell. Thanks so much. Number 10. Hurricane Sandy. After destroying Jamaica, Cuba, and Haiti, the huge, slow-moving Hurricane Sandy weakened to a post-tropical cyclone before making landfall in the U.S. in October 2012. Hurricane Sandy was still strong enough to wreak havoc on New York City and the Jersey Shore. Certain parts of Manhattan and Queens were even flooded with storm surges that were 13 feet high. Sandy destroyed or damaged about 650,000 homes in the northeast USA and killed 117 people in the US alone, as well as 69 others in Canada and the Caribbean. The approximate damage impact was $65 billion. Number 9. Hurricane Ivan. Hurricane Ivan landed in Gulf Shores, Alabama on September 16, 2004 as a Category 3. Hurricane Ivan had switched multiple times between a Category 4 and even 5, which explains how it made this list. The storm devastated the coastlines of Mississippi, Alabama, and the Florida Panhandle, and produced waves more than 50 feet high. Ivan was ultimately responsible for the death of 57 people in the United States and another 67 in Grenada, Jamaica, Dominican Republic, Venezuela, Cayman Islands, and Barbados. Damage estimates were more than $27 billion. Number 8. Hurricane Camille. When Hurricane Camille hit in August 1969, it was a devastating storm that brought heavy flooding and 200-mile-per-hour winds to the Gulf Coast and later Virginia. Camille first blew through Cuba as a Category 3, but intensified in the Gulf of Mexico, making a direct path for Mississippi. The storm resulted in 256 deaths and more than $1.4 billion in damage. Number 7. Hurricane Gilbert. After becoming a Category 5 storm in September 1988, Gilbert literally covered the entire island of Jamaica, damaging roughly 80% of the island's homes. The hurricane then moved on to the Cayman Islands and Mexico. Before weakening and crossing into Texas, Hurricane Gilbert turned itself into a series of tornadoes. The storm caused 318 deaths, including 200 people in flooding in Mexico, and 28 who died when a Cuban freight ship was thrown into a shrimp boat. Gilbert-related damages topped out at about $5.5 billion. Number 6. Labor Day Hurricane, 1935. This Category 5 storm, considered the strongest to hit the U.S. in the 20th century, brought 200-mile-per-hour wind and soaking rain to the upper and middle Florida Keys and killed approximately 400 people. The storm also struck well before advanced in weather tracking technology, which left residents largely in the dark as the hurricane approached. Many of the victims had been waiting anxiously for an evacuation train that never came. It was washed away from the tracks. The damages in the United States were estimated to be around $6 million. Number 5. Hurricane Katrina. On August 26, 2005, Hurricane Katrina looked like a hurricane that was dying out. However, it began rapidly strengthening to a Category 5 in the Gulf of Mexico. By August 28th, a mandatory evacuation order was issued from New Orleans. As the Category 3 hurricane reached the city, water topped over its system of levees, causing them to break and the streets to be flooded. Eventually, 80% of New Orleans was underwater. In all, Hurricane Katrina claimed 1,833 lives, and at $161 billion is considered to be the costliest hurricane in U.S. history. Number 4. Hurricane Maria. Hurricane Maria was a deadly Category 5 hurricane that devastated the northeastern Caribbean in September 2017, particularly Dominica, St. Croix, and Puerto Rico. It is regarded as the worst natural disaster in recorded history to affect those islands. The official death toll from Maria was put at 146. However, the Puerto Rican government finally revised the death toll to 2,975 in August 2018. The damage cost was estimated to be at least $1.31 billion for Dominica and over $90 billion for Puerto Rico. Number 3. Galveston Hurricane of 1900. The Galveston Hurricane, known regionally as the 1900 storm, was the deadliest natural disaster in the United States history and the 5th deadliest Atlantic hurricane overall. The hurricane left between 6,000 and 12,000 fatalities in the United States. However, the number most cited in official reports is 8,000. The storm didn't become a hurricane until passing west of the Florida Keys. The hurricane made a sharp left turn and sent it heading straight towards Galveston. That gave residents and local officials less than 4 days to prepare. The Category 4 storm brought a 20-foot storm surge and flash flooding to the region. Number 2. Hurricane Mitch. Hurricane Mitch is the second deadliest Atlantic hurricane on record, causing over 11,000 fatalities in Central America in 1998, including approximately 7,000 in Honduras and 3,800 in Nicaragua due to the cataclysmic flooding from the slow motion of the storm. Hurricane Mitch caused more than $5 billion in damage in Honduras, where much of the country's infrastructure and crops were completely and utterly destroyed. Before we reach number 1, a few honorable mentions. Hurricane Michael, a Category 5 hurricane that had wind speeds up to 161 miles per hour and caused $9 to $12 billion in damage. Hurricane Andrew, another Category 5 hurricane that had wind speeds of 160 miles per hour and caused around $27.3 billion in damages. Hurricane Dorian, a Category 5 hurricane that had wind speeds of 180 miles per hour and caused $3.4 billion worth of damages to the Bahamas alone. That is some fast wind. Hurricane Harvey, a Category 4 hurricane that had wind speeds of 130 miles per hour and caused around $121 billion in damages, making it the 4th most expensive hurricane in the U.S. history. Number 1. The Great Hurricane of 1780. The United States as we know it was just a concept when the Great Hurricane of 1780 blasted its way through the Caribbean, killing approximately 22,000 people. Among the dead were British and American soldiers who had been fighting on warships during the Revolutionary War. Since the storm happened in 1780, there aren't many records of it. However, a diary stated that the winds were strong enough to rip bark off a tree. This led people to believe that winds were over 200 miles per hour. This massive storm is considered the deadliest hurricane of all time. Do you agree with our list? Are you also terrified by massive natural disasters? Comment below to let us know, and we may just include it in our next video. Interested in more Top 10? Follow and subscribe to our channel. Ring the notification bell so you can stay up to date about more Top 10 videos. Thanks so much.